2, 3.
Austin and Emily. The new book just recently came out called Austin and Emily, and it was on the back burner for a couple of years actually, because it was supposed to be published a couple of years ago, and then the lovely economy and the effect of the economy on the publishing business pushed it back, and it recently came out with a brand new cover and hardback, and going around doing some signs and some promotional things, and it's doing pretty well. It's a fun book. I have, in retrospect, been able to look back and figure out why I write some of my weirder stuff, and I think that I write the funny things after I've written the very serious things. So Life is a Strange Place, the other funny book I wrote, if you want to call it funny, it was made into a movie. It was written after I wrote Godfile, and then Austin and Emily was written after I wrote a book called The Wait, and it seems that when those books become very heavy and depressing, turn to writing something fun. Well, actually, it first started out as a short story. The same actually as Life is a Strange Place started out as a short story. And while I was writing the very serious book that I was writing on, I kind of used it as a diversion and wrote that short story. But then when I finished the difficult book, I looked back and wondered what had happened to Austin and Emily. What did they do after those 7 pages? And it got me going. Austin and Emily is about a really gigantic fat guy, 347 pounds. He's a canned ham salesman, and he stops by a strip joint in Tampa and falls madly in love with a young lady there by the name of Emily Dooley, who falls madly in love with him. And I figured that I'd never written a love story before, so this is my first love story, and I figured if you believe in love, and you believe it has absolutely nothing to do with physics or logic or reason, and strange different people like Austin McAdoo and Emily Dooley can fall head over heels in love. And that's what they do, and they climb into his red car with 2 cats, Ulysses and Glenn, and they travel across the country to get married on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And along the way, they have lots of odd things that happen to them. Along the way, they run into this strange guy who climbs into the back seat of their car. He's a demented traveling preacher by the name of Kenneth Mint. And his only worldly possession is a coat made of human hair from his grandmother. So if you don't think that's funny, then you probably just don't need to get the book. The best thing about writing a book like this is if you can think of something that you think is funny, then you can fit it into this book. Now whether anybody else thinks it's funny is another question. My wife actually likes this book, I think, and my kids, some of my kids. It's not R-rated, it's about PG-13 and a half.